Okay, peeps. I'm back with you today. I hope you can hear me. You should be. Let me close my door. I've been getting some on my post. Oh, one person bullshit. Show me. Well, I think I already have. You watched my video and to the motion. Um, and understand the law, then you will have seen that all the evidence is right there. So let me start off because I'm going to redo this and try to re-educate the people who do not understand. I hope my smoking don't offend anybody, but it's my journey. So that being said, we're going to use this as an example, okay? We're going to use this as an example. There's a bridge. On one side of that bridge is the corporation. By law, the corporation. Now remember, the legal definition for the United States is corporation. Period. Got the corporation on one side. Police force, Vermont State Police, Chicago State Police, so on, so what, forth, whatnot. Public servants, everybody works for the corporations on this side. United States citizen of America are on this side. Are on this side right here. Now, on this side is the American citizen, like me, and people who believe in the Constitution. Okay? So this is the bridge. I'm on one side, we on the other, we on one side. Corporation, police, whatnot on this side. Right in the middle, right here, right in the middle, it goes up, is called the United States Constitution of America and its Bill of Rights. Now that is what stops these people from coming over here and violating your rights if you know your rights and know how to speak and reserve those rights. Okay? So now we established that's the bridge. So what they try to do is they try to. Okay, my feet stopped for a second, folks. So I hope that wasn't too much of a inconvenience. So like I was saying, remember, they're on this side, we're on this side. What they try to do is they try to, well, you know, let's say that side, whatever. They try to weasel their way through, and they try to attach statutes and laws onto people like you and I on this side, telling us what we can and can't do. That we have to go by the corporation standards. Now you got to understand, when you're dealing with anybody on this side, they belong to the Corporation of America, United States Corporation, period. That's just the way it is. They work for the corporation. You know, they may not know it, and a lot don't. But that's the facts. Now we're on this side. Try to weasel their way through and attach them statutes. But what's in the middle? Like I told you, in the middle is the United States Constitution of America with its Bill of Rights. It's the most important book out there for the American people. Those rights, those Bill of Rights and that Constitution cannot be changed. They have to adhere to that. And when I tell you they have to adhere to that, they have no choice. Okay? So now the only way, people say, well, they come over all the time. They're always arresting people doing crime. Well, yeah, people do crime, and that's the next point. The only way they can come from this side, over the bridge on this side, and take possession of your person, of your body lawfully, is if you commit a crime, if you got a party or a victim. That's the only time, and that's the only time they can get a search warrant. If there's a party with an affidavit, a truth or an affidavit, or a victim with an affidavit. It's the only time. Anything shy of that, they have no jurisdiction over your person. And your person is you. When I say your person, it's a legal term. And that means you, as a person. Now you have the constitutional right not to be trespassed on your person. And when you have somebody unlawfully detain you, and then hold you against your will, unlawfully, that's kidnapping. I know it's going to be new to a lot of people, and they're not really going to understand. They're going to say, bullshit, you can't do that. You can't travel on the public highway without a license. Yes, you can. It's your constitutional right. Now, I'm going to try to speak this from the head, because I'm been constantly talking about it anyways, because I got 2 more DLSs to beat. Wow, folks, that's telling me it's starting to wake the fuck up. So I got 2 more DLSs to fight right here. 2 DLSs. But I don't have to really, because I don't want their license. I don't need their license to travel on a public highway. Gotta understand that that William Mayberry versus James Madison. So that'd be William Mayberry versus James Madison. Now let me give you a little short snip of what it says pertaining to this DLS traveling. Justice of the Supreme Court, the highest court of the land, when they make a decision, that's the law of the land. It can't be changed, no matter what your opinion is. Justice of the Supreme Court, his opinion was anything that is in conflict is null and void of law. Clearly he said, and this is what he said, anything that is a conflict, he clearly said that for a secondary law to come in conflict with the supreme law was illogical, for certainly the supreme law would prevail over all other law, and any law to come into conflict would be null and void. It would bear no power to enforce it. It would bear no obligation to obey it. We don't have to obey it. It would report to settle as it never existed for unconstitutionality. Now, a lot of people that may be tuning in for the first time may not understand exactly what's going on. But this here is the United States Supreme Court ruling. William Mayberry versus James Madison. Now, the court has spoken. They have made a decision. So when I say spoken, that means they've made a decision. So the court has spoken. And you're saying you cannot make any secondary law. You can't make a statute, anything like that is going to trump my Constitution, my Bill of Rights. Now you got to understand, your First Amendment is not only freedom to the press, freedom to run your mouth, freedom to tell somebody to go fuck themselves. There's a lot more to it. You have a right to work. Remember I said that. You have a right to work. You also have a right to life, liberty, and happiness. Well, how's it exactly phrased? Life, liberty, pursuit of life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. Just got so much going through my mind, folks, so please bear with me. Life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. That's your First Amendment. And the court has spoken. of what life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness is. Okay, and part of that is traveling on a public highway. Peeps, you got to understand, it's not called a highway. It's not called a private highway. It's called a public highway. How would you like to go to the park and be charged for going to the public park? You know? You got to understand what a license is to start understanding what all this other stuff means. A license means interstate commerce. Period. Point blank. You can't change it. That's the legal definition. That's what it means. Now, interstate commerce means making money with your license, being hired as an interstate commerce operator, or making private gain by private highway with your private vehicle means making money. That's what private gain means, making money. And remember, it all comes down to money, folks. You have to look at that. When it all comes down and it all filters down from the fucking side shit tubes, it's all about the money. So these cases and these amendments, the Bill of Rights amendments, those are set in stone. They cannot be changed. So, when you understand what a license means, you can take the next step. Now, you don't need a license to be a traveler on a public highway. You got to understand that public highway is for you and I that don't act in interstate. Those are for us. That's ours. That ain't the corporation. The corporation over here is trying to say, hey, we own those public roads. Huh. How do you own a public, oh, can I say that again? A public highway or a public throughway. You don't own it, so you can't charge me a license and fee for it. Only if I'm acting in interstate commerce, making money, which is a uniform commercial code. Now, there's a lot to this. But if you listen to what I say and the things I'm saying and go back and research and watch some of my prior videos, you'll get a better gist, if you're a first-time viewer, about how this works. I know there's going to be a lot of people out there watching me say, no, you can't do that, and they don't have licenses. I know you're out there, and I know you're watching me. So I'm telling you, open your fucking eyes and your ears and listen to what I'm telling you. Now remember, I'm doing this for educational purposes, and it's, because it takes a lot of my time. I wish whoever's looking would hit that button down there. Like I said, I'm new, and subscribe. It takes a lot of my time to do all this. But all I'm trying to do is wake up the people to their rights. And I have a right to do that. Now remember, I told you, the First Amendment, you have the right to work. You're going to like this one, folks. You have the right to work and do as you please and charge as you want without the corporation on this side putting taxes and this and that and dictating how you're going to do that. They can't do it. The Constitution says they can't. So therefore, the judges have to, it's not a will they have to abide by that. Because if they don't abide by that, then they violate the United States Code 18-241-242. And then that leaves them open, then that leaves the judge open, and whoever else is part of the party, to a 42-1983 civil suit. Give me just a second, folks. I got a couple things. I got a screen over here. I got a screen in front of me. It's just a lot of research. Okay, so let me go on because I don't want to, bore everybody too much. But for the people that are interested and want to learn about your Constitution, like I said, the corporation's here. We're over here, the American people, corporation, and in the middle, is the United States Constitution. It's Bills of Rights. Can't be violated. Can't change it. It's period. Okay, so now that I've talked about the William Mayberry versus James Madison, and about secondary laws that they cannot uh, put into place. And secondary laws now, folks, if you haven't been paying attention or you're just tuning in, is statutes. You got a statute that you need a license to travel on a public highway under whatever state title da 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 da. Unlawful, straight up unlawful. But it's only unlawful if you get it out of your fucking mouth and speak up. Okay, remember that. Now that I talked about that and being unconstitutional, this is where your Bill of Rights comes in. To all this, to be able to travel on a public highway in an automobile, behind the wheel in an automobile, taking care of your business by the Constitution and the Bill of Rights that give you the right. They cannot tread or repeat on that. Period, point blank, period. If you don't speak up, they will tread, they will violate, they'll get you to admit in court, yeah, I give up those constitutional rights, Your Honor, I'll take the plea bargain, blah, blah, blah. But don't, every time he's asking you, are you giving up your constitutional guaranteed rights? And they try to play it off by, all right, to travel and this and that. But they don't tell you, they don't tell you that you're not giving up, you're giving up your right to the First Amendment, to life, liberty, and happiness. Oh, no. They only explain a couple fucking constitutional rights you're giving up. Oh, you're giving up your right to trial, to prove yourself, this and that. What about all your other constitutional rights that you're not even aware of, that he's not even telling you you're giving up? Why is he only telling you part of what you've given up and not the whole thing? And like I said, the first Constitution of the United States, the first fucking one, peeps, is life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. And the Supreme Court has spoken what that means. And what that means is I can be a traveler on a public highway, taking care of my personal agenda, without being, I am immune to prosecution because I follow the Constitution of the United States, the Bill of Rights, and the Supreme Court ruling. So therefore, I am immune to prosecute. You cannot trespass on this person. I have not committed a crime. The Constitution of America and the Bill of Rights says I can. And I will get into a little deeper of in my prior videos, get into cases that you need to read these cases to really understand too. It's just not one part and think, yeah, let's go. It doesn't work like that, peeps. You have to do your education. You have to be able to fucking speak it, sing it. Don't this. When it's come times, don't sing it, bring it. And that's what I tell them. Don't fucking sing it, bring it. And I let them know all the way through. You violate my civil rights. You violate my civil fucking liberties. It's as simple as that, folks. Okay, so now the Bill of Rights is the right of the people to be secure in your person, house, papers, and effects against unreasonable search and seizures that shall not be violated. No warrant shall be issued upon probable cause. Now remember, you have the right to be secure in their persons, which is you, your house, your papers, and your effects. That means your automobile, whatnot, so on. When they pull you over for a traffic stop or any moving violation that has nothing to do with a crime, you shut the fuck up, so to speak. You turn around and they'll come up, so I see your license and registration. And you kind of play with them if you want. Oh yeah, not a problem, sir. What happened? Did I commit a crime? As soon as he says you did not commit a crime, the deal is sealed. Yes, it is. The deal is sealed, peeps. Oh, so well, sorry, sir. If I didn't commit a crime, then I don't want to get off none of my documentation unless you got a search warrant. I have a right to be secure in my persons, my house, and my papers, and my property. So, and the only way you can get a search warrant, sir, is if I committed a crime. And I didn't commit a crime. You just said I didn't commit a crime. So why do I want to give you my documentation so you can use that in the court of law against me? I'm good with that. You do what you think you got it, and then they're gonna press you. They're gonna press you. They're gonna pray. All you have to, blah, blah. You don't have to, no matter what they say. Anything that they do from that point on is a violation of your civil rights. But hey, you want to be a guinea pig and say, hey, here's my license. Here you go. I don't mind giving up my constitutional rights. Law-abiding citizens who don't have a license, who are able to bear arms. You know, one time you can't bear arms, it's your constitutional rights, just as much as traveling in an automobile. So, a crime has to have been committed, has to have a party victim. Now, Amendment 9 is pretty much broken down to like this. There is no authority to, there is no, and I mean there is no authority to add on to the Constitution in such a way that would take away rights previously guaranteed. The Ninth Amendment forbids adding on to the Constitution by any laws whatsoever that takes away rights that are previously guaranteed. So those rights are already guaranteed. So, and that's when they speak of in Amendment 9 of your Bill of Rights. Those rights are already guaranteed. Your right to travel behind in an automobile, behind a wheel on a public highway is your right. It's already been established. The court has spoken. And that's what that means. You can't add a statute, a Vermont statute, Colorado statute, California statute, it don't matter what state. You can't add a statute that diminishes your right. You just can't take it away. It's impossible. You can't do it. And when you speak up, they have to abide by that. But you have to speak up. You know? Okay, now we're on. I just heard something bang, folks. Sorry. Well, when I hear something bang like that, I don't know what's going on. Okay. Oh, that's what it was. The wind shut my door, folks, but I had to check. Sorry, I apologize. So they can't take anything away that's already previously guaranteed to you. Now, the 10th Amendment. Now, I understand when you read this and you're going to hear it, you're not really going to understand what it means. So I help break it down so you get the gist of what it means so you're able to exercise your life, liberty, in pursuit of happiness, okay? That's already been spoken. U.S. Supreme Court ruling, period. Now, the 10th Amendment, the power not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states, respectively, or to the people. This means the police must act within the limitations of the United States Constitution. See Article 10, and I refer it right back to the top. Do they have the power to take away previous rights guaranteed by the Constitution? No. No, they do not. Now, Amendment 5. No person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime. You have the right to shut the fuck up. And another important one of that, and it's really important, and one of the most important ones, besides shutting the fuck up, is that you have equal protection clause. You have the equal protection right. So that Fifth Amendment protects your First Amendment, your Second, Third, Fourth, Sixth, Seventh, Eighth, Ninth, Tenth, and so on and so on. You guys understand that now? It's equal protection clause. If it's there, they have to protect it for you as the citizen. Period. But you have to speak up. You have to make sure they do their job. Because if you don't speak up, they're not going to do their job. They're going to burn you and extort you for revenue, and they're going to get their paycheck from you. Okay. So now this is a real important part about the Amendment 5. Okay, folks? So remember, I told you the equal protection protects the first, second, third, fourth, and so on. It protects what's already there that cannot be touched. But here's another good part to this that goes along with that. You have equal rights to all of your rights under the law. And you have a right to due process of the law. And that means due process means there's already a right that says I can have life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. It's been ruled on what that is, and that's part of traveling in an automobile on a public highway. Okay? You have the right to due process of law. And if they do not give you due process, Title 5 of the United States Codes, Section 556D, states very clearly, folks, open your eyes, states very clearly and specific and says, if they deny you due process of law, all jurisdiction ceases automatically. Also, under 557 in Section 706 of that code, nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. But basically, let me read that again. That is your equal protection under the Fifth Amendment, okay? It protects all your other rights. You have the equal right to all of your rights under the law, and you have a right to due process of the law. And if they do not give you due process, Title 5 of the United States Codes, Section 556D is clear and specific and says if they deny you due process of all the laws or of the law, all jurisdictions cease automatically. It means they don't got jurisdiction over your person, okay? That's what that means, folks. They don't got jurisdiction over your person, okay? Keep on seeing these things pop up. I ain't catching it because I was reading. And I didn't have my glasses because I'm too old to see that small print these days. And I smoke too much weed, so, you know? Okay, here we go. Let's see here. That ain't also wrong. That ain't made up numbers. You know what? You know what, peeps? You don't have to believe. If you want to be a non-believer and allow these public servants to tread on your rights, hey, that's on you. But everything I tell you that you see from me or hear from this, you can research yourself. And you can read it yourself. Here's a good one for you. How about why don't you go read Shapiro versus Thompson, another United States Supreme Court ruling, which is the law of the land. And that's a good leading case that allows you to travel on a public highway without a license. So you got to understand, a license is interstate commerce. I don't understand what people not understand about it. Okay, so here we go. You want to learn? So give me a couple minutes and I will give you everything you need. I don't mind taking my time to help you guys out. Hold on. Because I just beat $980 in tickets. Okay, now, I filed this motion, and I'm going to explain that, and I'm going to teach you right now. I filed this motion. Motion dismissed for lack of jurisdiction over this person. That's the proper motion, okay? They didn't even want to hear it. The state's attorney, I already filed it in court, gave them the copy, and I didn't even, not even an hour and a half in front of fucking 20 people waiting to go to court. So, Carl, you're out of here. Your case has been dismissed. I says, oh, I didn't even get the judge to hear it. I didn't even get to put an order in for my fee for violating my rights. So anyways, I carry it everywhere as I go. It's better than a MasterCard. And if you really want to learn blood, this is the best advice I can. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm back. It keeps on pausing. The best advice that I can give you is get yourself a copy of the Constitution of the United States and its Bill of Rights and read it. That's the law. That's what they got to go by. Period. But you got to speak up. Okay? Look, okay, right here. I got it right here, Pete. You want to learn? You want to know some shit? Okay, we can do that for you. Okay? I don't mind taking the time. If I can change one person's thought in the way that the American citizen should be treated, so they can turn around and teach somebody else, okay, not a problem. Okay, so now if you're recording this, record it. If not, start taking notes, okay? Because I don't want to have to keep on rereading it and whatnot and so on. Okay, that was a little brief spit of what I was talking about. So this is the motion I filed, okay, and they didn't want to hear it. Believe they didn't want to hear it, okay, and this is going to give you a good start to everything that you need to see, read, and understand, okay, and like I said, the first thing you need to read and understand is the Constitution of the United States, okay. That's the first thing. The second thing you need to understand is a license is interstate commerce. Making money with your license or private gain by highway means making money. Okay, I didn't think this video was going to be that long, folks, but I got some people that are asking, they want to learn and stuff, and but I see they're gone now. They make comments and then they disappear. So I'm gonna stop for now. I'm not gonna go all through this if I ain't got, because I got prior videos that speak of that. So let me go back to what I was talking about on this. Remember, they're not numbers. Title 5 United States Code. United States Code, Section 556D is clear and specific and says if they deny you due process of the law, all jurisdictions cease automatically. Also, 557 and Section 706 of that code. Nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. Okay, so now we're going to get into everything that helps that out, backs that up, folks. So it's called A.M. Jurisprudence, Volume 16, Constitutional Law, Section 97. Now, this is the law that gives you the right to do what you're doing. Gives me the right to do what I'm doing. If you choose not to exercise that, that's on you. Okay? So like I said, A.M. Jurisprudence, Volume 16, Constitutional Law, Section 97. A constitution should receive a liberal interpretation in favor of the citizen. That means you, I. It is especially true with respect to those provisions which were designed to safeguard the liberty and security of the citizen, you and I, in regards to both person and property. I have this Constitution. This Constitution is a contract in right and enforceable in the court of law pursuant to the statute frauds. Okay, that's law, folks. Okay, now, I am the designated beneficiary of that contract. And that's what you guys got to understand, okay? When it comes to the contract, when it comes to the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, you are the beneficiary. You are the injured party. So when they violate those rights and them civil liberties, you're the injured party because you're the beneficiary of that contract. You hired them through fucking political means to protect that contract for you. You're the boss. You're the beneficiary. Okay, do you see how that works? They got hired through political entities to protect the Constitution. They swore to protect the contract. That's my contract. That's your contract as an American citizen. I'm the injured party. When you violate that, you got to be held accountable legally. That means you got to give me your house and what you've earned. Because that's what the judge is going to rule. Because that's what the law says they have to do. Okay, folks? Are we getting there now? Now, in the 16th, second A.M. Jurisprudence, Section 155, since the Constitution is intended for the observance of the judiciary as well as other departments, means the police, state police, whatnot, of government, and the judges are sworn to its provision. And that's what I've been trying to tell you, folks, right along. That Constitution can't be changed. The judge is sworn to its provision. If he violates that, he can be sued on his persons, whether he's a judge or not. Okay? It's called a 42-1983 civil suit. He's held reliable under Title 18 of the United States Code 241-242. Okay, so let me go on. So, son of a bitch. Sorry, folks, I had the door slamming because of crosswind. Now I got to get back here. Yeah, okay, there we go. Okay, so he's sworn to it. Its provision and its guide. The courts are not at liberty to overlook or disregard its commands
or countenance invasion, or actually, excuse me, continuance evasion thereof, it is the duty and authorized proceeding to give full effect to existing constitution, and you obey all constitution provision irrespective of their opinions as to the wisdom or the desirability of such provisions and irrespective of the consequences. Thus, it is said that the court should be in our alert, us, to enforce the provision of the United States Constitution and guard against their infringements. It means don't be infringing on me. They're supposed to protect that. They're obligated to protect that by legislated fiat or otherwise in accordance with these basic principles. So let me just read that because I kind of trailed off. The court should be in our alert to enforce the provisions of the United States Constitution and guard against their infringements by legislative fiat, means statutes, or otherwise in accordance with these basic principles. The rules is fixed that the duty is in the proper case to declare a law unconstitutional cannot be declined. Means when you bring up an issue in court that it's not constitutional, they must. It's not an if. They must hear it. And if they don't, they violate your civil due process. So, and it's their duty in the proper case to declare a law unconstitutional cannot be declined and must be performed in accordance with the deliberate judgment of the tribunal before which the validity of the enactment is directly drawn into question. If the Constitution prescribes one rule and the statute another, in a different rule, it is the duty of the court to declare that the Constitution and not the statute. Did you hear that, folks? The court, it's the duty of the court to declare that the Constitution, not the statute, governs in cases before them for judgment. So when they're judging that case, they got to make sure it doesn't violate yours, mine as a citizen, Constitution. And if it does, it's his obligation. He has to, by law, step in and say, you can't do this. It's against his Constitution. When they don't do that, that means they violate their conspiracy to deprive you of your constitutional rights, which Title 18, United States Code 241, 242 helps you hold them as a judge accountable for violating your civil rights. When they violate your civil rights and your Constitution, they take themselves out of being immune. They take themselves out of the of any equation. It means they're acting outside their professional legal capacity. You're acting on your own when you do that, because it says when you do that, you can't do that. So when you do that, you're acting, and you can be sued on your persons. It's law. The judge has to rule in favor of the Constitution. It just has to, whether it's for you or against you. If it is constitutional, it has to be judged in favor of me, the citizen, because I am the beneficiary for the protection, rights, and property. Now see Breyer versus United States 273, U.S. 28. Also see United States versus Bishop 412, United States Report, page 346. Anyways, folks, I made this kind of long. I didn't want to make it this long, but I definitely wanted to give a little insight about what's going on. You do have the right to travel on a public highway without a license. Okay? If you're not making money and you're not acting in interstate commerce or any commerce capacity, you have the right as a traveler. When you get pulled over, you shut the fuck up. There's 3 rules when you get pulled over. Okay? There's 3 rules, period. Am I being detained or am I free to go? Because you're being detained, you shut the fuck up. You don't give no documentation out that's going to be used against you in a court of law. For one, they don't have the jurisdiction to even get it without a search warrant, no matter what they say. They don't. Okay? If you're not acting in interstate commerce, and you don't, and every time they ask a question, I don't answer questions. You know, when they ask you for your license, let me see your license. Why are you interrogating me for? I'm exercising a constitutional right. Matter of fact, you work for me, bitch. Let me see your license. Make sure that you got it on you while you're acting in interstate commerce. See how that works, peeps? Listen, I don't talk shit. And yeah, I do cuss and everything else and whatnot. But I'm just a strong fucking believer of the Constitution of the United States and the Bill of Rights. I've been fucked over by the state, by government, by DMV for years. For years, making me believe, frauding me, making me believe that I needed this and then consequencing me. And I even went to prison for it. You know, so, and that's a whole nother matter that I'm digging up now. You illegally imprisoned me. And that's money in itself. I mean, shit. I mean, right now they've violated the Colchester Department of Vermont has violated my constitutional rights on 6 different occasions. And I deliberately indifference them, means telling them, means making them legally aware of what time it is in my rights. The first time they pulled me over. Since then, 5 more occasions they've pulled me over and written me unlawful tickets and held me against my will. When I was exercising a constitution, you cannot detain me unless I have committed a crime or about ready to commit a crime. As simple as that, folks. Open your eyes and learn. I understand it's a long video, but listen to what I'm telling you. I've got about 30 years actually. I got 30 years experience in the system. Part of the system, what the system's about, X, Y, Z. I've got probably 20 years experience in educating myself with the law. I've gotten a good 3.5 solid years of research and reading the United States Supreme Court rulings, the Constitution of the United States and the Bill of Rights. I've got actually 3.5 years of legal research, education under my belt just in that. I'm not going to give nobody any kind of information that's wrong. Any information I give up can be researched. And then everything else is just blah, 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 because the story's about what happened to me and how I did it. Now, did they make a decision on this motion? Motion dismissed for lack of jurisdiction over the person? No. The motion was never heard. But I know by my experience, in the end, they didn't want to hear this. It talks about my constitutional rights and it keeps them accountable for a tort claim. You know, it's on record now. All I've been trying to do is documentation. I used to think it used to be about location. Not no more. It's about documentation. If you want to exercise your constitutional rights, and the fucked up thing about it is you got to fight for those rights. They're not given to you. Even though they swore to protect those for you, they're not. You got to fight for them, brother, sisters. It's just the way it is. I don't know what else more to say on this video, folks, pertaining to traveling on a public highway without a license. You know,
If you're not acting in interstate commerce, you're not hired as interstate commerce, you're not making money by private in your automobile for gain on a private highway, if you're not doing none of this, making no money, then you have every 100% constitutional guarantee to be a traveler. And they can't impede on that, even though they do. But, I drove away the other day. He said, you can't travel out of here on a public. I say, I can, it's public, bud. Go ahead and impede on that. You've been deliberately indifferent, so do what you got to do. As soon as you left, I drove right, I traveled right up on the road. Right down the road. I'm waiting for them to pull me back over. They're going to be searched. Yeah, I mean, we're going to pull you over again, and we're going to issue more tickets, and we're going to tow it. I said, well, the only way you're going to be able to tow that son of a bitch is if you can get me out of my automobile. You need a search warrant to do that. And who's going to give you a search warrant to violate my constitutional rights to life, liberty, and happiness that's already been spoken on by the United States Supreme Court? There ain't nobody. And it's just the facts of life. I wish I knew this when I was 20, 30, but maybe I might be able to help other people open their minds. And like I said, don't get me wrong. I'm not anti-cop, I ain't anti-government, none of that bullshit, okay? Did I hate fucking pigs at one time? Yeah. Do I kind of still hate fucking pigs? Yeah, they don't do the right thing. But I understand what they do. I for the bad and good. And I also understand if we didn't have police forces, we'd have anarchy, and we wouldn't be able to live like we do. We wouldn't be able to have our constitutional rights. We wouldn't be able to keep the bad people in check, like me for the longest time. I ain't bad no more. But some of that was when I was exercising my constitutional rights. I didn't even realize I was exercising my constitutional rights, and I got consequences for it. Because I didn't speak up. I didn't know. I was ignorant to the law. And ignorant to the law is no excuse. Supreme Court ruling. Ain't that some fucked up shit? Set in stone. But that also goes the same way for public servants, cops, state police. Ignorance to the law is no excuse. It works both ways, peeps. Okay? If they can tell me in court ignorance to the law is no excuse, Mr. I rule for the state, you're going to say the same thing to the cop. I know it sounds kind of far-fetched, but this is the way it is. And if he don't say it, you bring it up. Ignorance to the law, Your Honor, is no excuse. It works both ways. Transparent. I'm not trying to fucking harass anybody. I'm not trying to harass any. I got no ill intent. I'm a non-violent person. I don't care about them. I just want to live my life. I want to be happy. My life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. And if you impede on that and you stop me and you trespass on this person, you're going to pay me what you worked for all your life. And I'm going to win. Because you violate. If I lose in court, I pay. If I do something wrong, I have to pay the consequence. Well, it's transparent, folks. That's what I'm trying to tell you, and that's what I'm trying to teach you. It's transparent. It works both ways. They can be held accountable, and they will be paid. The judgment. You can't fight against a federal fucking lawsuit when all the evidence is sitting there saying that you violated my rights, and the Supreme Court says this and this and this, and here's the evidence saying that you did exactly opposite of that. Here's citations. Here's court hearings. Here's what I had to do. Now listen. Right now, I'm working. And you know what I'm charging? I'm charging $30,000 an hour until the case is done. I've already charged $50,000 an hour, minimum 10 hours. The first day that they pulled me over, and I deliberately indifferenced them. Now, you can remember when I told you in the beginning of the video, I have a right to work. Okay? It's your right. And no legislator, no statute can dictate how you're going to do that. Can't fucking license or fee it. And they cannot regulate what you charge. And when they continue to hold you unlawfully and kidnap you and violate your fucking freedom of movement, which is your constitutional right, they can be held accountable, and they're going to pay for that. It's how the law works, folks. It's how the law works, okay? So don't. I'm not here to, like it says, we need them. It helps us do what we're doing. It helps us able to travel down that public highway. You get pulled over, be polite. I got my videos where I was kind of mad because it happened 5 times. I get frustrated. Well, I'm telling you, and sometimes I don't go by my own advice because I got a mouth on me. But it's always good to be polite. You get more with honey than you do with vinegar, you know? You got to help them understand that they're violating their oath that they swore to protect, the Constitution. And then you have this on you. So you say, you know, when they ask you everything, when they tell you you didn't commit a crime, and they ask you for your license and everything else, this is what you shoot out the fucking window. Right? Oh, what's this here? Oh, no, that's it. Go ahead, sir. That's part of it. That's what you're going to need. And he's going to take it. And once he takes it, he's been served. He's been deliberately indifferenced. And if you don't take it, then you verbally deliver indifference while you're videoing. You set yourself up for that lawsuit because you know what he's doing is treading on your... You can't just tread on my rights and Constitution and think there's not a consequence for it. My rights are so sacred that it says in the rights in the Constitution and United States USC, United States Code 18, you can go to jail as a public servant, as a cop, for violating those rights, up to 10 years. Huh. I mean, those laws just ain't there for nothing. It's a hat, blood. It's a hat. It's actually, oh boy, I got one of a kind. It's actually a hat. A lot of people won't agree with it, but my state's legal, and it's medicine. Okay? And this, my friends, is one of a kind. Well, I don't care what anybody says. You ain't buying this on eBay. You ain't buying this anywhere in the world. And you know what makes it so unique? You see it? You see the envelope? You see the envelope? And it's sealed. It's sealed, never been opened. Postmarked, stamped, worth a few $1,000s. So I like to keep it up here, and I like to share it with the public because I think it's pretty cool, you know? I mean, what's the sense of having something nice if you're the only eyes that are going to see it? I mean, I understand you buy it because you appreciate it, but I mean, it's such a nice item, and it's one of a kind. You know, I mean, there's like a handful, but there's different pictures, but it's just one of a kind. You're not buying that anywheres. Nowheres. You're not buying that on eBay. You ain't buying that freaking just like this. Yeah, I mean, just like this. I keep these things for retirement fee. We all heard of bottle cap coins, right? They're misprints. Bottle cap, they punch in, so one end's flat, and then it's punched in, and it comes up like that. The bottle cap. Okay? Now, there's only a half a bottle cap. Kennedy, 1966. Okay? There's only a half a bottle cap. There's one side of the bottle cap. Here's the other side of the bottle cap. And if you can see, I don't know if you can see, but the writing is all around the rim and in the inside of the rim. So when they punched it and it came out, somehow, I don't know, it's a misprint. I've been researching this for 10 years, 15 years. I've still yet to find another one like this. It's silver. It's bottle cap. It's a misprint. If you know anything about coins, it's one of a kind. It's my retirement, you know? And I don't mind sharing and showing because you come in my place and you're not invited and you got ill intent, or you just come in my place and you're not invited, I'll fucking kill you. Simple as that. And you know what that's called? That's called the Constitution of the United States. Oh.
folks. What's going on here? Well, actually, I'm not. No, that's not true because the Constitution is what it is. It can't be changed. It's been ruled on. Listen, there's three kinds of law, brother. There's three kinds of law if you didn't know. United States Constitution, the common law, and your color of law. Now, you may not understand that, but that's three different aspects of law. And your United States Constitution is the first. And that's backed up by Supreme Court rulings, because Supreme Court rules on constitutionality issues. Okay, so, and then it's your common law. Your common law overweighs, and your common law is almost hand in hand with your Constitution Supreme Court ruling. And then you got your color of law, your statutes. And I've already read to you that you can't put statutes in place to deprive one of their rights. You can't, it's illegal. You can't do it. It's not if they do it because nobody speaks up. They don't know. But once you speak up and you say you can't do that, you cannot do this. They can't. Believe me, I just got a fucking $980 ticket dismissed. Okay, peeps. Well, I got shit to do. I just wanted to get on here because I was challenged. But I don't look at it as a challenge. And of course, I understand I'm going to have player haters. I'm going to understand I'm going to have people that don't believe. And then I understand I'm going to have people that do believe. For the non-believers and the player haters, the only person that you're hating on is yourself. The only person you're playing is yourself. Okay? You want to be the Ponzi scheme? A part of all that bullshit of the corporation and allow them to take your rights? I mean, I can read you cases, Supreme Court cases, where saying that DMV has defrauded the American people. You got to remember, DMV, no matter what state it is, it's a political entity. And that being said, do you understand what a political entity is? Well, if you don't, let me just give a brief description of what a political entity is. A political entity is something that's set up by the state for monetary gain to regulate licensing for interstate commerce only. Did you hear that part? Only. Anything shy of that, they can't pull you over. They're not supposed to pull you over. You make them aware of their rights, you know. It's a fact, peeps. It's a fact. Well, somebody wanted to tell me Saturday, know what the hell I'm talking about. You can't do that, and so I'm thinking it might be some kind of cop watching my shit. Just subscribe down there, motherfucker. That's all you need to do, cop. Just subscribe down there. Give me another fucking like. If I got your attention, I'm doing something right then. And I know I got their attention. Believe it. Because they know they're about ready to be sued on the 42-1983. I've already started writing it up. It's as simple as this, folks. I hear some noise out in my kitchen. I could go running. You never know. Somebody might be breaking in the house in these day and ages. And I tell you what, you come to my motherfucking house if I'm wanted, you ain't never going to see the fucking streets again. I can tell you that for free. Yeah, ain't no fucking cop going to help your ass. The Constitution gives me that right. And it's backed up by the Supreme Court rulings. Because I'm immune to prosecution when I go by the Constitution. Okay, peeps. Y'all have a good one. I'm out of here. I got some shit to do. All I wanted to do was try to enlighten some people
about your rights. You know, don't think you don't have them, because you do have them. You just have to speak up, man. I was like you, or whoever that doesn't speak up. I was like that one time because I didn't know, but I do know. And then the best advice I can give to anybody out there is pick up the book of the Constitution of America and read it in its Bill of Rights. It tells you what they can and cannot do. They cannot breach that. Corporation cops are on this side, we're on this side. What's in the middle? It's called the Constitution of America and the Bill of Rights. That's what stops them from fucking impeding. Even though they do impede, and that's when they can be held accountable. You got to make sure you speak up and you can file and everything else. But anyways, folks, just subscribe. Take a lot of my time out of it to try to teach people, you know, and I don't mind, but it's exhausting sometimes because you get all these comments from these uneducated people that really don't understand and been taught. You know, I had a comment the other day from this person saying, wow, the state's attorney was on the news and the state's attorney said this and he said it was like that. And I said, you actually believe in the fucking state's attorney who's putting people in fucking jail for DLSs and shit like that, knowing that they have a constitutional right to travel? For real, you're really going to believe that? And you're going to tell me and use that as an argument against me? Wow. I said, okay, whatever. Okay, Pete, remember, you're pulled over. Am I free to go, or am I being detained? If you're being detained, what do? You shut the fuck up. You don't give them no documentation unless they got a search warrant. There's not a crime committed. They can't break in your. Make sure you lock your doors. You can't get a search warrant. And anything that they do to impede that and take you out of there and everything else, that's a civil suit. That means you get paid big time. Violating somebody's constitutional rights is not a joke. It's just as serious as somebody going out shooting somebody. That's how serious it is. Okay, Pete.